Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our advanced Bible study night, the 27th of June, 2023. The topic for discussion will be Uriah the priest, turning to Jeremiah 26, verses 20 through 23. For those that don't know, this is you can go to our YouTube channel, check out our Prophets of Awakening, and check out our videos. It's a lot of information given, and the videos will connect dots for you and lead you into the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving on the channel, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And for those that want to support the channel, you can see our Cash App at the bottom of the running along the bottom of the screen. This is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah when we don't deal with the New Testament. The Tanakh is the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books, the books of the law that was given to Moses by the Lord host. Shalom and welcome to Prophets of Awakening, and welcome to our advanced Bible study. Okay, we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, a prayer, Psalms. We'll do some current events, a little need to know information, and then we open it up for some questions or comments, a little dialogue, and then we go into the topic for discussion, which is Uriah the priest, and it's pertaining to Jeremiah 26, 20-23. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to do this moment of silence for the Lord of hosts and all he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Oh Lord, we thank you for your great mercy and your great power and wisdom. While we tarry waiting for your powerful deliverance of your people Israel. Oh Lord, you have given us insight into the scriptures of our forefathers, and you, oh Lord, has directed us to who you are, and your role in the goings on of heaven and earth. And we come this day doubtless that you will appear and that you will gather your nation from among these wicked Gentiles. Oh Lord, you spoke through your prophet Isaiah and said that you would help Abraham's seed, and that whom you have scattered, and you have completed that promise as of this day. For we are awakening, and you said, oh Lord, that you would remove the darkness from around us. Tarry not, O Lord, for the latter days are here. We are waiting and watching for you. Peace be unto you. Okay. Read the Psalms. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna read Psalm 79. It's a prayer for destruction of the heathen. Okay. O God, the heathens are come into thine inheritance. Thy holy temple have they defiled. They have laid Jerusalem on heaps. The dead bodies of thy servants have they given to meat unto the fowls of heaven. The flesh of thy saints and to the beasts of the earth. Their blood have they shed like water round about Jerusalem, and there was none to bury them. We are become a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision to them that are around about. How long, Lord, wilt thou be angry forever? Shall thy jealousy burn like fire? Pour out thy wrath upon the heathen that have not known thee, and upon the kingdoms that have not called upon thy name. For they have devoured Jacob, and laid waste his dwelling place. O remember not against us former iniquities. Lay thy tender mercies speedily, prevent us, for we are brought very low. Help us, O God, of our salvation, for the glory of thy name, and deliver us, and purge away our sins for thy name's sake. Whereby should the heathen say, where are thy gods? Let him be, where are their gods? Let him be known among the heathens in our sight by the revenging of the blood of thy servants which is shed. Let the sighing of the prisoners come before thee. according to the greatness of thy power, preserve thou those that are appointed to die, and, render unto our neighbors sevenfold into their bosom their reproach, wherewith they have reproached thee, O Lord. So we, thy people, and sheep of thy pasture, will give thee thanks forever. We will show forth thy praise to all generations. So that was Psalm 79, the prayer for destruction of the heathen enemies. Any comments? Okay, so it says, one verse I saw, it was talking about, verse 9 says, help us, O God, of our salvation. So it's the God of salvation for the glory of thy name, and deliver us and purge away our sin for thy name's sake. So what do you mean by Asaph saying for your name's sake? So what is he talking about? We go to Exodus, real quick, Exodus 23. Exodus 23. Let me see right here. 23 and 20. We on Mount Sinai, and Yahweh came down from the heavens down upon Mount Sinai. And he says, he's talking to Moses. And 20 says, behold, I sent an angel. So Yahweh talking to Moses. Behold, I sent an angel before thee to keep thee in the way, and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, obey his voice, and provoke him not. We will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. So this is the name we're talking about. Asaph is talking about the name that was given to this angel. And Yahweh is telling Moses, my name is in this angel. And we know what that is. Michael means he who is like Yahweh. So we're telling him, my name is in him. So Michael hold high esteem to his name because Yahweh gave him that name. And that name represents Yahweh, him. So that's why he keeps saying my namesake. And like I say, the more of these videos you see, the more the information that's being brought forth, you see that more and more. And until you get an understanding of who this the Redeemer is, Savior, the God of our salvation is, the scriptures are open up. Not who you think it is. Okay. Any comments? Okay. Got some current events.
Distracted by the coup in Russia this weekend, or so-called coup, the real war was unfolding right before our eyes in China. And what Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping have created is nothing short of a fortress, and it has devastating consequences for the United States economy over the next decade. Do you remember a few weeks ago when a sitting member of Congress said this about blowing up the largest microchip manufacturer in Taiwan?
Just making it very clear to the Chinese that if you invade Taiwan, we're going to blow up TSMC. I just throw that out, not because that's necessarily the best strategy, but because it's an example of this out there. And of course, the Taiwanese really don't like this idea.
Yes, he said that. Now put a pin in that for a moment, because we're going to come back to that incredible statement. If you're an investor, you need to pay attention, because China is building the new Great Wall of China. And the United States is actively trying to sabotage this fortress because it's about to be smoked by the competition. Now, I'm going to get into all of this in a moment, but first, a few months ago, the world was on high alert. You'll remember this. Would there be a physical war after then Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, made a very strange visit to the island of Taiwan in August?
Now to the escalating tensions between the U.S. and China.
The will she, won't she speculation has ended. Nancy Pelosi's plane has touched down in Taiwan.
China's warplanes went on high alert, mobilized forces. Did we have a death wish? What were we thinking? We have a one China policy. Taiwan is not an independent country. Pelosi then took it even further, even released a statement saying, quote, this visit should be seen as an unequivocal statement that America stands with Taiwan, our democratic partner. This was a massive provocation. I'll remind you that Taiwan is actually part of China, And the United States official position is a one China policy. You can even go right on the U.S. State Department's very own website, right here. Quote, "We do not support Taiwan independence." And then a few days later, President Biden goes on 60 Minutes, and when Scott Pelley asks him if we would defend Taiwan during an invasion, Biden says, yes, we would. And then Pelley, just to be sure and confirm what he just said, asked the president a follow-up. You mean you'd send America's sons and daughters to fight in Taiwan against China? And his answer, yes. China was furious that the United States Speaker of the House would provocate like this, pretending that Taiwan was an independent country, a slap in the face to China. But the real story was a few layers deep, and it wasn't meant to make headlines. Pelosi's real reason for visiting Taiwan was to meet with the team at Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing plant.
Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC, is not a household name, but it's quietly making chips for every new iPhone, U.S. fighter jets, the highest-end processors, you name it.
Would you be interested in collecting five-figure paychecks?
Chip manufacturer in the entire world. Photos later leaked of her meeting, and Pelosi also brought along her son to those meetings. What the heck was going on here? What was she doing there? Checking on her stock portfolio, her stock picks? We know she's a big investor. Imagine using taxpayer dollars to fly around the world to check on your stock picks. Must be nice. But something bigger was happening. If the so-called pandemic taught us anything, it taught the United States a valuable lesson. Microchips, they drive everything the United States uses. And when suddenly we don't have access to microchips, America grinds to a halt. And I'm talking everything from our tanks and our weapons on the battlefield to our iPhones and toothbrushes, everything. The United States suddenly woke up and realized that over 90% of the world's semiconductors are made in the very place that many U.S. officials think could be the site of the next great global conflict, Taiwan. That's right. 90% of all chips are made in Taiwan. So if China were to mobilize forces into Taiwan, they could make sure that no one else could get their hands on these chips, effectively cornering the market. The United States believes that China will in fact do this in the next few years, move forces into Taiwan. So it's damn curious then why Pelosi was in Taiwan, because shortly after the U.S. announced it was bringing a new version of the Taiwan semiconductor plant to Arizona. It was going to be an exact replica of what they were doing in Taiwan. So the United States would be home to a new Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing plant. And here it is being built in Arizona. Now they're actively hiring for positions at that plant. And then Congress suddenly announces the new CHIPS Act to boost development of silicon in the United States. The timing of all of this, very, very interesting. And if that's not enough, then members of Congress let slip this bit of stunning news, which we told you to put a pin in, but it's worth repeating. They've actually been talking about bombing the Taiwanese semiconductor plant so that China couldn't get its hands on these chips.
Just making it very clear to the Chinese that if you invade Taiwan, we're going to blow up TSMC. I just throw that out not because that's necessarily the best strategy, but because it's an example of this out there. Of course, the Taiwanese really don't like this idea.
I'm not blowing up TSMC. If you do that, you have a $2 trillion economic impact on the global economy within the first year, and you'd put manufacturing around the world at a standstill. I mean, this is a terrible.
You can't make this stuff up. This is how these psychopaths think. And then in an apparent about face, the Biden administration suddenly says, no. We don't believe Taiwan independence. We don't believe Taiwan's independent. We believe in the one China policy. Antony Blinken, just a few weeks ago, visiting China.
On Taiwan, I reiterated the long-standing U.S. one China policy. That policy has not changed. It's guided by the Taiwan Relations Act, 3 joint communiques, the 6 assurances. We do not support Taiwan independence. We remain opposed to any unilateral changes to the status quo by either side.
Wait, really? As Colin Rugg tweeted, Blinken gives China the green light to invade Taiwan during his visit to Beijing. Well, you can't invade your own country, but you can sure put troops there. China could move forces into Taiwan and make sure that no one touches Taiwan semiconductors manufacturing plants, and they could cut off 90% of the world's chips to the United States. So you have U.S. members of Congress openly saying that they've been talking about blowing up the plant. Then you know what's coming. You just built a replica version of that very same plant in Arizona after Pelosi visits the plant. Come on, we're not stupid here. And as this tweet points out, quote, it was clear from the very beginning that the U.S. doesn't care about Taiwan, but only about the chips, and they will blow up Taiwan Semiconductor as soon as they build up a factory in the United States. And they know the global demand for chips is off the charts right now. It's only growing with the explosion of AI. There's a land rush right now to get chips because every company is trying to figure out how in the world they can build AI components and services into their companies. This is a revolution in computing that we haven't seen in decades. And those with the supply of chips will win that race. So that's the news update part of this video. Now I want to tell you about today's sponsor, which is tied directly to this demand.
Okay, any comments on that?
Shalom. So they're saying that TMC, they want to, TSMC, they want to blow that up. Russia and China wants to do it. I was trying to listen out.
Right, they make all the chips for everything that we use over here, everything the world uses, but specifically what is all the things, AI equipment that's over here in America, that plant makes all of it. So if they was to blow it up or take it over, that'll put us into a standstill.
Okay. So they didn't mention how they received the materials to make that particular chip, because I remember that in Ukraine, they had some, I can't remember the name of the material that that takes to make the chips.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're not saying where, excuse me, where they're getting the materials to make these chips. Just the fact that they are the fastest making chip supplier.
Right.
Yeah. So I would like to know where they're getting this material from, and if it's some is coming from Ukraine or wherever it is coming from, they can put a hold on that. Or if it's right there in Taiwan, getting the lithium. I don't know if it's lithium.
I think it's coming out of Africa. Most of it may be one component coming out of Ukraine, but the majority of all the materials that they need is coming out of Africa.
Yeah, some of it is gold. I know in all our cell phones and all the computer stuff, they use gold and silver to make things, work. So our phones have gold in it. It's a very, very tiny bit, but it does have it in it. If you're breaking open your laptop, the motherboard has gold in it. So, and that chip probably does have some mixture of gold in whatever the material is. So that's interesting.
Right. It's getting tight. Everything's, you can see it's headed to some kind of conflict.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back to the channel. So the more we forge ahead into the future, the truth is coming out so fast. People are actually running from it at this point, right? They're running from it. So you have these people who are running real fast from their past because their past is catching up with them, right? And it's not just from people talking about it, but it's the reality, I believe, of certain things that were prophesied to come to pass in the last days. This earth has changed, y'all. And so there's a sense of judgment in the air. That's the way I see it. Anyway, I'm going to be showing you how even in the real estate sector that white folks are running real fast from their past. This is why we see changes everywhere. Of course, we see a lot of pushback, kickback fighting, but the truth is still coming out nonetheless. Here it is.
Guys, all this? I'm not tired. You missed the whole thing.
House fires like this one occur in our
Anyone who follows any type of real estate blogs or real estate channels or anything dealing with real estate, you'll notice that there was a shift from the term master bedroom to primary bedroom. Okay, so I'm going to be reading this article on this. It says the bedroom is the perfect place where you can escape the stress of the world. In every home, there are different bedrooms that serve different needs. On average, there are 3 types of bedrooms, and they vary according to the arrangement and the types of furniture placed in the sizes of the bedroom. Okay, these 3 bedrooms are the children's bedrooms, guest bedroom, and master bedroom. A master's bedroom implies one thing. It is a room intended for the house owner or the master of the house. It is typically larger and is furnished better compared to other bedrooms inside the house. However, the term master's bedroom is not as popular as it was before, and it is now shifting from master bedroom to primary bedroom. The word master bedroom has been used since the 1920s when it was featured in a Sears home catalog. The word is intended for the master of the house or the owner of the house. Realtor groups are just moving away from the term master bedroom and instead using primary bedroom. Okay, why the shift of the name? The shift from master to primary bedroom has been made due to negative implications and perceptions involving the word master. Consumers and real estate professionals realize and understand the term master as something racist and offer a sexist implication. Master bedroom is a term implying a concept of dominance and ownership, which doesn't sound to be so convincing and attractive in modern times. One step to remove this negative concept around the name master's bedroom is to remove it and replace it with the term primary bedroom instead. The main bedroom or the owner's bedroom should still be set apart from the rest of the bedrooms inside. Since a master's bedroom is not advisable to use, homeowners prefer to call it primary bedroom. Changing master bedroom to primary bedroom or the main bedroom may not be the solution against sexual or racial discrimination, but it is a significant step toward change. Words have power, and changing terms can bring on the positive change. Then using the primary bedroom is worth a try. So they said they think it's a significant step towards change. I'm sorry, that's not a significant step. I do understand the change of the word from master bedroom to primary bedroom, but again, I say they are running fast from their past because that is not a significant change. Because what they don't realize in all of this is that a lot of people who have been affected by slavery don't even have a master bedroom. So again, significant change. I mean, this is just running from your past. How everything was labeled by a certain group of people for their benefit, right? While they were not negatively affected by anything, right? That change in the term from master to primary is not a significant change at all. That's just the way I see it, especially when you have people who cannot even afford to buy a home. Rental markets are being changed as well because they're not even renting as much as they used to. They are pulling their rentals off of the market, rather going to vacation rentals, in which people can do whatever they want. I'm just saying, look, in regards to, whether they rent to a family or do vacation rentals, they can do whatever they want. That's what I meant when I said that. But I just wanted to make a point of saying that is not a significant change to no longer use master bedroom and just use primary, especially when a lot of people from the demographic you're running from, as far as your ancestors and what they did to these people, they can't even afford houses. So it amazes me how people think they're making positive changes, but where it matters, the changes are very slow. They're creeping about and they're not moving fast at all. So there's nothing significant with this. The change is okay. It's fine, but it doesn't change a thing in the lives of the people who have been affected by this systematic, so-called democratic society. That's just my take on this. Again, I follow the real estate market because it's a very important market to follow, whether you're trying.
Okay. Any comments on that? What do you think about that?
Shalom. What I see is that doing that, they want, at one point, I'll say, when they said the master bedroom, that was going to be for as anyone purchasing a home, the parents would have the rule of the home. You know, their room would be bigger. The bed, it's attached to a bathroom. It's it's the main part of the home that shows um, control over it, that they have that master bedroom. It's like you're, giving yourself a title. I have the master bedroom. Now, when she says that it's the primary, I believe that what she said.
Right.
Um, yeah, it dumbs it down. It makes it seems okay. This is the primary room. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't really change it because now it's already instilled in one's head. The bigger the room or the room that's attached with the bathroom is considered master, is considered as the bigger part of the home, far as a bigger part of the bedrooms. So that's the main bedroom. It, to me, that's what it means. So far as them trying to change their name or implicating primary, it it doesn't do well. It doesn't. I don't think anyone's gonna take heed to that and change it in their mindset. Oh, okay, you mean the master bedroom. They're still in mindset would do that. That was my take to me on her saying, she's following the real estate in the bedroom, and now they're changing the name. That name is not going to change. Retitling it, it's not going to change the thought of that person. It's just like when someone says colored. I mean, when they use racist words, it's still in the back of the minds of someone using the N word if they say you colored people, or using different words to change it up, but they're still gonna, and it had already been said, and they're still gonna think in that term because that's what was placed first. That's my take on that.
Right. She's saying that the masses of the majority of the people now, because of the understanding of the people, and change to the point where that word master, when it comes to black folks, is offensive because that's master, and then it's offensive to the LGBT community and to women because it's saying master, the man of the house. It's profane, it's sexist. So she's saying that it's causing problems in the real estate business. So that's the reason why they changed the name to primary, because people, it's offensive. That's how bad people words and got with people. Say that, what I mean? Say the word is more, it's causing more problems than good. So that's why they want to change.
Shalom. Well, again, yeah, that's probably why they want to change it. But again, it is still, um, it's in the mindset of the people. So changing it, to me, it's not going to change the way they think about it. And then if it is hurting or critical to that person who is still set in their mind, have their mindset as a master is over them, or with that word, it can mean so many different things. But if you hold on to it as being a negative part of what's going on, then yes. Because even the color, you can say black, and black is beautiful, but someone can take that same word and say black is associated with people wear it for funerals. It is, but then you can associate it again. Black is powerful. So it's the way we use that word. And if they want to take and start a controversy again and bring it back up and start going, like you said, that it means like the head of the household. Well, someone respects the person at the head of the home, and because they're the provider, they're the protector, and not such a master because it is not in that take on slavery or um, ruler in a home. It's all a mindset, and it's a trickery of the words that that one will display on themselves or others to go along with that word meaning something negative. And then if you play into it, yes, just like the New Testament, if you play into that, yes, you will believe it.
Right.
If you, you know, that's my take on it. And that's another thing to, um, let's say, to throw the rock and hide the hand because there's something else that's going on in the real estate industry. So we'll we'll throw this out, but right now we're really working on something else. But we'll just change the word of master bedroom to the primary room of the home. There's something else that's going on behind the scenes, and to bring people on to purchasing, or like you said, the LB, the L. I keep forgetting the letters, but master. I don't see where that kind of plays in it, but if it does, they are doing something to get your eye on something else because something in the back of the scenes are happening. That's my take on it.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Okay, so we're gonna go to a little need to know information. It's what this thing right here is one of the reasons why it's even the topic I'm dealing with tonight. Uriah, the priest, right? Nobody knows this guy. You know what I'm saying? So I did countless of videos on Daniel chapter 9 and Zerubbabel, the Messiah that's in Zerubbabel is the Messiah that's in Daniel 9:25 is Zerubbabel. And so many people don't know that. You know, they started to find it out now because the information is circling around. But I'm gonna play this video right here. It's pertaining to the information that I already put out when it comes to Daniel 9:25. But just to show how we, according to what happened to us since we've been here, we assume that you know the man of color, black man, his knowledge is not good enough. He got to put in a whole bunch of work in order for you to believe what he's saying. But any old okey doke ass white man can come along and they believe, his what he say resonates. So we're gonna look at that right quick.
He gets away because no one looks it up. No one. They just listen to him. He's got a fancy outfit on. He's got a fancy thing, but he's holding a cross in his hand. The Messianics did the same scam. Same thing. Why do they say the Jews hit Isaiah 53? Why do they say? The reason they say this because they think they can get away with it. This is such a mind game, and I want to say this to you who are in the church. You don't have a chance.
And this right here is like I was saying before. If you haven't been exposed to this information, you're never gonna, it's just gonna go over your head. But based on the information that's being already dispersed, like I said, with Daniel 9:25, understanding that it's not JC, and then it's been exposed that it's Zerubbabel, but also when the Israelites left, they didn't leave in 70 AD. They didn't leave in 70 AD. They left in 143 BC. So you say, why are you saying that? Because it's major, because the Jews that's over there now, they the ones left in 70 AD. So when this start playing out, you're gonna see that he's putting another take on it, but it's a reason why he's putting another take on it because he knows that if he goes back to when the Israelites really left, it's not none of them. So, and then like I was saying before, when this Israelite movement started, everybody shook it off, but it kept going, getting bigger and bigger, and so many people started leaving the churches. So now they have to do something about it. So one of their tactics is they're coming with these Israelite churches. They got Israelite name on it, or some kind of Israelite take on it, but they still trying to pump JC. And so same thing when you understand where we at the end. Here come these slick ass rabbis too. They come in. Everybody trying to put a twist on it because Isaiah 44 1-5 it came to manifested itself. We're waking up, and so, like I said before, you're gonna see that even though he's saying some stuff that's profound and going along with what's being already broken down, but it's certain places he can't go because they're gonna expose who they are. So let's play it.
So I have heard, everybody's always heard that they have book of Isaiah, or at least the chapter 53 of Isaiah was hidden from the Jews. But this bishop guy is saying that Daniel was also hidden by the Jews. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Right. So this is a common thread among fundamentalist Christians, and that is the Jews engage in a conspiracy of hiding the truth. That means we really know the truth that Christ is Lord. We really believe in this stuff, but, and this is where the Jews are the devil, we hide this from the world, and most importantly from fellow Jews, because we don't want them to believe in Jesus. Evangelical Christians who profess extraordinary love for the Jewish people, they say this, but yet accuse the Jews of hiding, of subverting the 53rd chapter of Isaiah from the Haftorah. The Haftorah is a segment, a small segment of the prophets that is read aloud in the synagogue following a reading of a segment of the Torah. So whereas throughout the yearly cycle, we read from the Torah scroll and we go through the entire 5 books of Moses from beginning to end. Every part of the Torah is in our, but for the prophets, we read only a very small segment, which really represents only about 4% of all of the Nevi'im. So it's a very tiny number. And we read the segment that comports best with the segment of the Torah that we've read. This tradition began during the Greek Empire. And it was a tradition because for a time we weren't able to read from the Torah under Antiochus Epiphanes IV. The point is that Christian missionaries, and these are not the people who are, these are not people who belong to the clan. These are people who say we love the Jews. The Jews are the most wonderful thing. We love Israel. We love it. They say that the Jews hide Isaiah 53 from the Haftorah. And they say this despite the fact that.
So you have to understand, as we go along, a Jew is not Israelite. 2 different people. The Israelites left in 143 BC. The Jews left Israel in 70 AD. Okay?
The vast majority of the book of Isaiah isn't read at any point during the year. So they're really hiding it. Moreover, I've done this many times where I've been on the streets speaking to Christians and they ask me what it says in Isaiah 53, and they have no clue what it says in Isaiah 51, 50, 52. So so this is the thing, that the Jews are deliberately hiding text. This is very important because we then are engaged in a conspiracy of subverting information. We know the truth, but we don't want others to know. It's really a very dangerous charge. And imagine what this does to parishioners. What does this do to the nice Christian who goes to a Baptist church in the suburb of Dallas? She's thinking to herself, God, what's with these Jews? Why are they just trying to hide Christ? Why are they subverting it? And the people who are responsible for this are people who engage in Jewish evangelism. These are so-called Christian Zionists, and we love Israel, love the Jews. Why are you spreading this stuff? I mean, it's not like we read all the prophets and just happened to have 53 just like this. The vast majority of Isaiah is never read in the synagogue on the Sabbath day. And in fact, the tradition of reading the Haftarah long predates Christianity. In fact, we see the reading of the Haftarah in the Christian Bible, as an example in the book of Luke, where Jesus, we're told, is reading from the Haftarah in Luke chapter 4 in Nazareth, in the synagogue in Nazareth. So this is very silly. Now, the chapter that is quoted most frequently by missionaries is Isaiah 53, and the other is Daniel 9. Daniel 9 is...
I've heard them address Daniel. I've always heard about Isaiah 53, but I've never heard this before. This is what's kind of really interesting about this guy.
It's insane. So this is commonplace that the Jews hide Daniel 9. This is an Assyrian priest. It's sort of an Eastern church, not part of the Orthodox Church. Let's hear him make this grotesque charge against the Jews that they deliberately hide the book of Daniel.
I don't want to upset our beloved Jewish people, but did you know the book of Daniel is not accepted by the Jewish people? It's taken out of their books. To them, it's not authentic. You know why? Because the only prophet, can I make an emphasis on this? The only prophet out of the entire Old Testament prophets, the only prophet that prophesied in absolute perfect timing of the Messiah coming is Daniel. He is the only prophet who pinpointed when Jesus Christ was going to be born. Pinpointed.
Now, it's a nut bucket. In case you don't know it, it's a nut bucket, but he got all kind of followers. Like I say, the black man, when you understand where the prophets came from, you know, it's, their origins and the people are of African descent, you know, are black. So, but nobody want to hear them. And we're going to see later on in the topic, the discussion, how that, you know, they don't want to, they didn't want to hear the prophets back then. They was black. But like I said, they didn't fool the whole world. Well, these people get audience, and they don't even know what the hell he's talking about. So let's check it out.
His time is so accurate. When you accept the book of Daniel, you must accept that Jesus Christ of Nazareth came. There's no two ways about it. That's why the Jewish people took the book of Daniel out, because they don't want to believe the Messiah had already come.
So what this guy is saying is that the Daniel 9 somehow contains the time of the birth of the Messiah. This is in his audience, I am sure that people actually think that there's a claim that Daniel 9 predicts the birth of the Messiah. This is so convoluted because Daniel 9 is nowhere quoted as predicting the birth of the Messiah. Christians do claim that Micah chapter 5 is marking the birthplace of the Messiah, but not Daniel. That's how convoluted this is. Moreover, he's stating that the Jews hide the book of Daniel. Like if you went to a Jewish Tanakh, a Jewish Hebrew Bible, you would not find the book of Daniel. Now, I encourage my friend, people say my Jewish friends, you know it's coming. You know, when someone says to me, some of my best friends are Jews, I go, oh boy, here it goes. Like, so that, you know, some of my best friends are black, but then, you know, everybody knows, here it goes, you know, because it's a reverse ad hominem. So this is a complete lie that the Jews hide the book of Daniel because we don't want anyone to believe in Jesus. That if they would, I mean, how many chapters of my book are from the book of Daniel? How many? Where is this Tanakh? It doesn't exist anywhere. So he's making an outlandish claim. And the strange thing is that he's got quite a large following in this Assyrian church, and he's a fairly large YouTube following. People, I'm sure, just watching go, oh my God, those crazy Jews took out the book of Daniel. Oh, that's very silly. The book of Daniel is very much in Tanakh. It's a sacred book. It's a book that tells us so much about the Messianic age. the destiny of the Jewish people. Daniel 9, let's talk about this for a brief moment. Daniel begins in bewilderment because he doesn't understand prophecies found in Jeremiah. He's concerned with Jeremiah 25, verse 12, and 29, verse 10. He conflates the two and can't understand it. And he begins a prayer to God to understand what's happening. Why is Daniel perplexed? Because he is standing in the first year of Darius the Mede. That opening statement in the 9th chapter of Daniel, that on the year of Darius the Mede, that means the Babylonian Empire has just fallen. And Daniel was observing this. He lived during the Babylonian exile. And he sees that one part of the prophecy has been fulfilled, meaning in Jeremiah 25, verse 12, Jeremiah is telling the Jewish people that Babylon's only going to be around for 70 years. The context in Jeremiah 25 is that you don't need to rebel against Nebuchadnezzar. This is the Neo-Babylonian Empire. Don't fight against them because they're not going to be around that long. They're going to be gone. Daniel conflates that 70-year prophecy with another 70-year prophecy in Jeremiah 29, verse 10. That speaks of the return of the Jewish people. So what comes into view in the response to Daniel is the angel Gabriel outlines history from the destruction of the first temple, destruction of the second temple, which is 490 years, 70 weeks of years. Each day is a year, so a week is 7 years. And he breaks it up into a structure of three periods. The first is 7 weeks is 49 years. Cyrus emerges. Now, in a moment, you're going to see how he spends this. So Cyrus emerges a half a century after the destruction of the first temple. And then for subsequent 434 years, the temple is rebuilt street and moat. The second temple stood for 420 years. So there it is. And then the last week is the last 7 years. This is going to become very important in a moment. The last 7 years of the second temple period. Half of that.
So this is where the drama comes in at. You understand, like I was saying, so many people don't understand this stuff right here. But you have to understand this in order to get out of this quagmire that most people are in. They combine in Solomon Temple with Herod Temple. Solomon Temple and Herod Temple, they can't be combined because when it Zerubbabel and the Levites and all of them came back to rebuild the second temple, Zerubbabel temple, the Edomites came and asked them, can we build with you? You know, we want to build with you, and they said no. You can't build with us. It's all about the Levites, me and the Judah and Israelites. We the ones. Our God want us to rebuild it. You can't help us. So the Herod temple, Herod is Edomite. So that temple Herod built was not that temple, and the Zerubbabel temple, two different temples. When Antioch Epiphanes came, what Daniel 9, 26, 27, 28, the abomination of desolation is what Antioch Epiphanes did to Zerubbabel temple. Then Herod came on the scene. Herod built the city of Caesarea and built the temple, the Edomite temple. The Israelites gone. And that's why I keep on saying you have to understand that right there, and you also have to understand that a Jew is not an Israelite. Two different races of people. Jews are Edomites that converts, but an Israelite there's two different people. So when you say the people that's over there now, they the ones that was ran out in 70 AD, and they told the Lord of hosts they was coming back. He said, though you kick us out of here, we're gonna return. They came back in 1948. So you have to understand that. And then, like I say, when they associate the second temple, they tie Herod temple in there. But no Edomite can't build no temple to Yahweh. Right? So let's look at the verse right quick. Clarify that. So there's a prophecy about that. And it's in Daniel right quick. So it's in Daniel chapter 11. There's another verse that goes over a lot of people's head. So we're in chapter 11, and he tells them right here in Daniel chapter 11, verse 14. I'm going to read verse 13. For the king of the north shall return and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and he shall certainly come after certain years with a great army and with much riches, right? So these king of the north, king of the south, king of the east, all that, those are the four generals. It was all kind of wars took place after Antioch Epiphanes, after Alexandria died. The Greek kingdom, then the Greek kingdom was divided into four. That's the four kings. It's not no king in the north coming in the future. These are four generals from when Alexander died. And they warned against each other, trying for supremacy and stuff. So, and the king of the south is Bartholomew, that's in Egypt. And so it says, 13, for the king of the north shall return and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after certain years with a great army and with much riches. Then verse 14, and in those days at that time, many shall stand up against the king of the south. That's Bartholomew. I just told you that. So the king of the south also, see that? The robbers of our people shall exalt themselves to establish division, but they shall fall. So we know Antiochus came, destroyed the temple, and the Israelites left in 143. And right here is telling you the robbers of our people, that's Esau, came with the king of the south, and they picked the vision up. What vision? Solomon built the temple, and Zerubbabel built one. So they built one. That's the vision. But he said, even though they do that, they build a temple, they gonna fall. Just like the Babylonians came and destroyed the first temple, and then the Greeks came and destroyed the second one. These Edomites gonna build one, but they gonna fall too. The Romans knocked it off, and they ran out. They ran them out the land. It wasn't Israelites. They had been gone. So if you don't understand all that, you can get over. Somebody, these Jews can get over, and it makes it look like, they the Jews and that they was in the land. And so, like I was saying before, you can't go along with the narrative that I've been breaking down about Zerubbabel, because Zerubbabel going to expose these two different nationalities of people. And most people don't know that, so he can get away with it when he bringing up Second Temple and all this stuff. Edomite can't build no temple to Yahweh.
Week, meaning 3.5 years, is going to be a war with the people who are from the prince, who eventually are going to destroy the sanctuary, and the priest is going to be cut off. Means an anointed one will be removed, will be cut off. And the Christians conflate and push Jesus into it. And of course, this is all very, very silly. And one other point, you talk about hiding stuff. The calculation found in Daniel 9, verse 24 through 27, is never found in the Christian Bible. This is all an afterthought. I mean, Daniel 9 is quoted in the Christian Bible, but not because there's some amazing timeline prophecy predicting the exact time of Jesus' death. This is totally silly, and of course, we'll see in a moment why this can't work. Let's play the next clip.
So the first interval is 49 years because it's 7 weeks. Since the week is 7 years, so 7 times 7 is 49 years. What is this first interval? From the time of Daniel's death till the time of Malachi the prophet coming, there was a gap of 49 years.
The homeless problem is getting worse.
With this priest, he's an Assyrian priest. So he says, well, this is very clear. It's the time that Daniel died until the time of Malachi. Well, I have news for you. Guess what? Guess how many times Daniel's death is mentioned in Daniel 9? Guess.
No.
You guessed it correctly. 0. It doesn't exist. This is totally made up. Guess how often is the book of Malachi mentioned in Daniel 9? 0 times, never. So here we have a case where he is making a very serious accusation, leveling a very serious charge against the Jewish people. They were hiding books. The book of Daniel doesn't appear in the Jewish Bible. This is a complete lie. But as it turns out, he has reason to start with that charge because he's about to lie. That means he's making stuff up that does not exist anywhere. Nothing. In fact, as it turns out, from the going forth of the word, I did a lecture, which is on YouTube, in German. Malachi. This is all complete nonsense. Moreover, one other point that surely should come into view, and that is he's saying that the anointed one was cut off after the 62 weeks. That's verse 26. And after the 62 weeks, an anointed one will be cut off, but not for himself. Now the word is Yikares Mashiach. The word Yikares means will be cut off, which could mean killed, it could mean removed, it could mean any of those things.
Here we go right here.
And many of the translations, including the NIV, says will be killed, will be put to death. That's total fake. The text says Yikares Mashiach. If the text wanted to say that an anointed one will be killed, it says Yahareg Mashiach. That means killed. So this is such a mind game, and I want to say this to you who are in the church. You don't have a chance. You really don't. Because if you're not looking at the original Hebrew, you're gone. And if you're looking at Christian translators, they're all playing a game with it.
So the Hebrew, we don't have the language yet. That's another sign right there. So he's saying you don't have the original Hebrew, saying that they got the original Hebrew. That's another way. Like I said, it's mastery. The average person don't know shit about none of this stuff. But anyway, he's saying you don't have the original Hebrew, but they got it. But we know that in Zephaniah, he says he's gonna return the language to us. That haven't happened yet. So that's not the real language yet. That's Yiddish. It's not the real language. So I'm gonna get to this point, then I'm gonna open it up.
You're really in a lot of trouble. The church had thousands of years to figure out how to tool this material in order to make. The next problem is that last week. That means if.
Here we go.
So if in fact the anointed one who is cut off, it really says an anointed one will be cut off. There's no definite article there, although the
Zerubbabel was cut off. Zerubbabel was cut off. We know that. He was building a temple. The Edomites came, sent a letter to Darius and told him they back here. They came back from Babylon and they rebuilding the temple. So Darius went and looked in the archives because the Edomites told them they got a track record from causing drama. So Darius looked back in the record. He saw the drama in the archives. Then he sent a letter and cut Zerubbabel off. Zerubbabel, the Messiah, the king, that got cut off. And ain't nobody else. But watch what he say.
Christian Bibles insert one. There is one more week, which is the destruction of the temple. So what do you do with the last week? It doesn't make any sense. That means according to Christian tradition, Jesus died essentially in, let's say, the year 30 or 33, just somewhere.
They're going to 30.
That means he died essentially 40 years before the destruction of the Second Temple. Look carefully again at Daniel 9, verse 26 and 27. We have there the destruction of the sanctuary, destroyed. That's the Churban Bayesheni. Now, if you properly look at these texts, so it's really simple. What happened a half a week before the destruction of the Second Temple? Let me rephrase that. The Second Temple was destroyed in the summer of 70. What?
Well, he's sticking to that. He's going along with Herod Temple is the Second Temple, and that 70 AD. He's sticking to that 70 AD because you can't go back to 143 when the Israelites left because it's going to expose who they are. So he's playing that. He's playing it. You know what I'm saying? He's non-Messianic, but he's playing it. Okay?
Happened 3.5 years before 70. What year was it? The year was 66. Nice. In '66, the Jews go.
That's how complicated that is. Anybody got any comments on that? I wouldn't intend to go that long with that, but anybody got any questions? They understand that.
I understand.
Okay, no comments? Okay, I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A for a minute before I go into this other topic. It's got a lot of meat in it, so anybody have any questions or comments about anything they came across during the week, over the weekend they want to talk about or bring up?
Not at this time.
Yeah, I want to get some understanding about the credits on the Ten Commandments.
What is it?
When he says that, when he gives us the commandments and he says, "Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not murder," and things like that, he's speaking for us against each other for the Israelites, right? Or just in
Yeah.
period.
It was given to the Israelites, but everything has to go through the Israelites, and it's always been, he always had a way for anybody to become a Israelite. If they believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they can come in. If they keep the law, statutes, and judgments, they can come into the Israel. But it's not like Christianity is. They throw away the Jews, but they have to come through the Israelites, and they have to accept their religion. Yeah, right. They always had a way.
Because I was like thinking, like, for as how it says, "Thou shalt not kill," "Thou shalt not kill." I was always thinking like it was more like, "Thou shalt not kill an Israelite. Thou shalt not lie to an Israelite." But you're saying that it's in general.
Yeah, it's in general. It's in general. But it's for the nation of Israel, but it pertains to all men.
Okay.
That's like I was saying, you got a Chinese man. I mean, we were told not to marry their daughters, not let your son marry daughters. Don't marry their daughters. So you come across this Oriental man and his wife, then you can't you can't disrespect him, his spouse, and say, oh, I can sleep with her because he ain't no Israelite. That ain't righteous. See what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, I need to hear that.
Right. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. So this topic I'm on now, like I was saying before, I went in on it's on the channel about Zerubbabel, who he is, and Zerubbabel is the actual Messiah that's in Daniel 9:25. So you can go back and look at those videos, and so the golden core for Christianity is that in Daniel 9:25, that Messiah in Daniel 9:25 is Jesus. But I'm showing you, breaking it down in numerous videos that it ain't none of him. See him on Facebook. But anyway, so now tonight I want to talk about this Uriah, the priest, in Jeremiah 26 and verse 22, 23. I want to read it. So this, and like I was saying before, when you hang around for a while, you'll find out that they dissected this book, our book, the Old Testament. It's not something that's righteous, and every word in here is true and every word is good. No, they done hoodwinked it, And like I said before, you have to understand who the priests and the Levites are. The priests and the Levites that's when he's talking about his right arm. It's the priests and the Levites. They're the one is responsible for Israel going down the right road. When the priests and the Levites go left, Israel, the whole nation of Israel going left. That's who the suffering servant is. If they lead Israel right, they the Most High condone them for it. But when they lead Israel off to the wrong road, they're gonna reap the punishment. That's the suffering servant. He took the Levites from among the rest of the tribes to himself. That's his servant. That's the servant right there. And he got sin is on him. Just like when you understand who the Lord of hosts is, he the one that's overseeing. I just read that. He's the one that's guiding Israel, and he's the one predicting the scene. That's who came to Abraham in Genesis 18. He's on his way to judge Sodom and Gomorrah. It wasn't Yahweh. It was three angels came. One of them was the Lord. He was on his way to judge, because that's what he do. That's part of his role. He was on his way to judge what was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. And in the process, he came by because he heard Abraham's prayer about wanting to see. So on his way to go judge Sodom and Gomorrah, he stopped by to let Abraham know that Sarah was going to have a baby that he had prayed about in Genesis 15. So you have to understand that. Yeah. So with that being said, we'll go to Jeremiah right quick. No, yeah, Jeremiah. I'll read the verse that I'm talking about is 26 and Jeremiah 26 and 23. And like I was saying before, these things, you're just not gonna see them. Yeah, I was going to. Let me go. I'm kind of. Give me a minute. I had to go to. I wanted to show you what the priest's role is and why they're the suffering servant. I'm in Numbers. We're gonna read this. So we see this angel that's in heaven, the Lord of hosts. He's the judge. He's the one. He's the redeemer and the savior. He's the one doing the judging on behalf of the Yahweh, the Lord of hosts. So if we go to Numbers right quick, chapter 18, we'll read that. Then I go back. Then I go to Jeremiah. Numbers 18. So we in Numbers 18. This is the Lord of hosts talking. So like I said, who you gonna believe? Paul, the apostles, or you gonna believe what's being said right here from the mouth of these angels, from the mouth of the Lord of hosts? Chapter 18, verse 1 says, and the Lord of hosts said unto Aaron, thou and thy sons and thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary. Thou and thy sons with thee shall bear the iniquity of the priesthood, and thy brethren also of the tribe of Levi. See that? The tribe of thy father bring ye thou with thee, that they may be joined unto thee and minister unto thee. But thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of witness. So we see right there, before the tabernacle of witness, that's what Isaiah 43 is talking about. Let's look at that right quick. Lay this foundation. So Isaiah said the tabernacle of witness. So Isaiah 43, right quick. Okay. Isaiah 43 and 10. He says, ye are my witnesses, said the Lord, and my servant, whom I have chosen. See that? He chose the tribe of Levi, that ye may know and believe me and understand that I am he. Before me there was no God formed. So Yahweh wasn't formed. So this ain't Yahweh. This angel, Michael, he's the first one formed out of the seven. Neither shall there be after me. So he said right here in 43 and 10, ye are my witnesses. What witnesses? Back to Numbers 18, verse 2, 18 and 2. Thy brethren also of the tribe of Levi and the tribe of thy father bring thou with thee, that they may be joined unto thee and minister unto thee. But thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of witness. See that? Tabernacle of witness. So we telling them, you in the temple. I brought you to myself. You the one you serve at the temple. You doing all this stuff for me. It's my temple. I took you from among the 12 tribes to myself. That's why they have the other 11 tribes got to get him, got to provide provisions for the Levites, because they can't work. They're doing the Lord's work. They don't have time to work. So all of the 12 tribes have to bring 10% to the temple for them to eat. And then when they make sacrifices, part of that sacrifice, whatever it is, a portion of it go to them to eat off of. That's the Lord's way of taking care of them. So this is the sovereign servant. Can't be nobody else. So we gotta understand that. So let's go to read this in Isaiah 26 and 20. I'm gonna show you something. So 26, and I'm reading verses Jeremiah 26, 26. And there was a man that prophesied in the name of the Lord, Uriah, the son of Shema of Chirakim, who prophesied against this city and against this land, according to all the words of Jeremiah. And when Jehoiakim, the king, with all his mighty men and all his princes, heard his words, the king sought to put him to death, right? But when Uriah heard it, he was afraid and he fled and went into Egypt. So this was a priest. Like I said, that's their job. He doing his job. He told them, just like Jeremiah doing, that y'all, you ain't right. The Lord host came to me and dealt with me, and then told me to come to the gate and tell y'all that he see what you're doing, and that Jerusalem gonna get judged. So I'm gonna go back and read this whole chapter, but I'm just showing you right here. So we see right here, this man did the same thing earlier, and not only him, Micah. I'm gonna read that in a minute, but so he told them they was gonna during the time of Jehoiakim, which is right at the end before Nebuchadnezzar came. This is when Josiah had died, the last righteous king in Israel, Josiah, and then this one of his sons. So when this man prophesied and told them that Jerusalem was going to be, Most High said, "Thus says the Lord," he's going to judge this place. Jehoiakim didn't want to hear that. So let's pick it. Let me finish reading. So he says, so he fled for his life. He fled into Egypt. Then 21. And when Jehoiakim the king, with all his mighty men and all his princes, heard his words, the king sought to put him to death. And when Uriah heard it, he was afraid, and he fled and went into Egypt. 22. And Jehoiakim the king sent men into Egypt, namely Nathan, the son of Achabar, and the certain men with him into Egypt. And they fetched forth Uriah out of Egypt and brought him unto Jehoiakim the king, who slew him with the sword and cast his dead body into the graves of the common people. So there's a lot going on with that. I'm not going to uncover it right now. I'm going to wait. So we see right here, this dude said the right thing. He said what the Lord told him to say. And the king at that time, which was a wicked ass king, Jehoiakim, he not only did he left to get out of his presence, but he sent some men all the way into Egypt. Remember now? That's where JC went. So I was telling you, all this stuff they got it out of the Old Testament when they created him. So this guy went into Egypt, right? Jehoiakim sent him over there, sent some men into Egypt and got him and fetched him and brought him back. And they killed him. They cut his head off. Do you hear me? They cut his head off. Ain't that what they did to John the Baptist? They cut his head off. And then look what it say he did. They cut his head off. It says, and they fetched forth Uriah out of Egypt and brought him unto Jehoiakim the king, who slew him with the sword and cast his dead body into a grave of common people. Ain't that what they say? JC was buried with the common folk. He was killed and buried with the common folk.
Yes, sir.
So you see that all this is like I was saying. What people not understanding is that they say, well, how can it's so profound. How can you say something ain't right with it? You're dealing with literary geniuses. Like I said, Josephus and Philo of Alexandria and Sir Francis Bacon, which is Shakespeare. He the one rewrote the New Testament for King James Bible. These people literary geniuses. So all they're doing is looking at how everything was going in the New Testament. In the Old Testament, see how it go. So this character JC came out of them looking at the Old Testament, the whole thing. So let's look at it. So we see right here, this guy this is where they got John the Baptist from. But let's go back to we're gonna read Jeremiah 26, and we're gonna see that this way Jeremiah is where they got JC from. So we're gonna pick it up in chapter 26, verse 1. In the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, came this word from the Lord, saying, thus said the Lord, stand in the court. See that? Check it out. Thus said the Lord, stand in the court of the Lord's house, speak unto all the cities of Judah, which come to worship in its Lord's house, all the words that I command thee to speak unto them, and diminish no word. Ain't that what JC did? He came to the temple. He was 12 years old. They seen how the prophets work. So we got JC doing the same thing. He coming to Jerusalem, to the temple, charging people. But they got it from here. So 3, it said, if so, they will hearken and turn every man from his evil way. So he's saying, if you go and tell them what I say, you're doing it, so they will hearken and turn every man from his evil way, that I may repent me of the evil which I supposed to do unto them because of their evil doings. So we see right here, if Jeremiah got to do what he telling him. He's the prophet, he's a servant, he's a Levite. He got to do what he's telling him to do. So he goes to the temple and he said, but if they hearken to you, then I'm not going to, it ain't set in stone. It ain't set in stone that I'm going to bring Nebuchadnezzar and the Chaldeans. It's not set in stone. If they hearken unto me, then I won't do which I proposed unto them because of the evil they're doing. So if they hearken, then he's going to turn. You're not going to do that. So 4, and thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord, if ye will not hearken, see that? You got a choice. If ye will not hearken to me, to walk in my law, which I have set before you, to hearken to the words of my servants, the prophets, whom I sent unto you, both rising up early, sending them, but ye have not hearkened. Then will I make this house like Shiloh, and I will make this city a curse to all the nations of the earth. So right now, Israel and the temple is a blessing. So he's saying, you don't get doing what you're supposed to do, I'm gonna make it a curse. So he says, so the priest, look at this. Keep in mind who the suffering servant is. 7, so the priest and the prophets and all the people heard Jeremiah speaking these words in the house of the Lord. They heard it. Now it came to pass when Jeremiah had made an end of speaking all that the Lord had commanded him to speak unto all the people, that the priests, see that? See, check it out. I just showed you who's responsible for the sin in Israel. So Jeremiah says, and the Lord had commanded him to speak unto all the people, that the priests, see that? They're the ones responsible. See? The priests and the prophets and all the people took him. Check it out. Go back to JC. Took him saying, thou shalt surely die. Ain't that what they told JC? Thou shalt surely die. He's speaking the words of Most High, but he got to die. So 9, why hast thou prophesied in the name of the Lord, saying that this house shall be like Shiloh, and this city shall be desolate, without inhabitants, and all the people were gathered against Jeremiah in the house of the Lord. See that? Against Jeremiah. Go back what I said when it started. When you understand who the real Levites are, they don't want to hear what the real Levite got to say. We the real Levites. They got all these nut buckets and everybody flocking to them. So it ain't nothing new. You shouldn't be surprised. They don't want to hear what the real prophets got to say. It's got the truth. The Most High came to them and gave them the truth. Don't nobody want to hear that. They want to hear all the other bullshit. So you shouldn't be surprised. So we see it right here playing out at 10. And when the princes of Judah heard these things, then they came up from the king's house unto the house of the Lord and sat down in the entry of the new gate of the Lord's house. See that? They in the Lord's house. These are the princes of Judah, these Levites, these are the people that are responsible for sin that Jeremiah going to talk to. It says then 11. Then spake the priests, see that? Then spake the priests and the prophets unto the princes, that's seed of David, the house of David, unto the princes and unto all the people, saying, this man is worthy to die. JC all day long. This man is worthy to die, for he hath prophesied against this city, and ye have heard, with his ears. Then spake Jeremiah, look at this. Then spake Jeremiah unto all the princes and unto all the people, saying, the Lord sent me. to prophesy against this house and against this city all the words that ye have heard. Therefore, now amend your ways and your doings and obey the voice of the Lord your God, and the Lord will repent him of the evil that he hath pronounced against you. For as for me, look at this. JC, you can't tell me. JC said the same thing. Look at this. As for me, behold, I am in your hands. Ain't that what JC said? I am in your hands. Do with me as seemeth good. Meet unto you. Right? 15. But now ye for certain that if ye put me to death, ye shall surely bring innocent blood upon yourselves and upon this city and upon the inhabitants thereof. For of a truth the Lord hath sent me unto you to speak all these words into your ears. So this what I mean about you can't get away from it. You know, it's on you to have discernment when the man, he sent the man, because he gonna come and speak in your ears. He ain't gonna be in Baltimore and you in Alabama. He gonna send him to speak in your ears. That's how he worked. So he says, 16, then said the princes and all the people unto the priests and to the prophets, this man is not worthy. Check it out. This David seed. Then said the princes, this David seed, seed royal. Then said the princes and all the people unto the priests and to the prophet, this man is not worthy to die, for he hath spoken to us in the name of the Lord our God. So what are you talking about when he spoke to us in the name of the Lord our God? I was showing you earlier, a couple weeks ago, how when Balaam prophesied, the Lord entered into him. The Lord there, Jeremiah standing there, but the Lord, when he gets to where he on, then he's speaking through Jeremiah. It's him talking. So it's a when you see that, it ain't something, it ain't no everyday occurrence. So when he gets there, it's like his body been taken over. And the Most High speaking to all the people in Israel through Jeremiah. All they see is Jeremiah, but it's him speaking to them. So that's dangerous. You got to discern that, whether is it him or not, because it's terrible repercussions to it. So anyway, he says, verse 17. Then rose up certain of the elders of the land. Let me see if I'm in the right place. Yeah, okay. It says, I'm in 26 and 11. Then spoke the priests, and I read that, right? Yeah, 17. Then rose up certain of the elders of the land and spake unto all the assembly of the people, saying, check it out. Micah, this Micah, the book of Micah, the Morasite prophesied in the days of Hezekiah, king of Judah, and spake to all the people of Judah, saying, thus says the Lord of hosts, Zion shall be plowed like a field, and Jerusalem shall become a heap, and the mountains of the house as the places of the forest. So these elders, priests, righteous priests stood up and said, what you talking about? How you gonna die? How you saying that this man gonna supposed to die because he prophesied what the Lord had said? This ain't nothing new. Micah did the same thing. Micah came and prophesied with the spirit of the Most High and said this place is gonna get destroyed. So that brings us to 19. Then Hezekiah, king of Judah, look at this. Then Hezekiah, king of Judah, and all Judah put him at all to says. Then Hezekiah, king of Judah, and all of Judah put him at all to death. They ain't put him to death. Did he not fear the Lord and besought the Lord, and the Lord repented him of the evil which he had pronounced against them? This might thus might we procure great evil against our souls. So yeah, there's repercussions to it. So he said when Micah came and spoke in the name of the Lord, Hezekiah hearkened to it, and the Most High repented of the evil he was going to do. He gave Hezekiah 15 more extra years to live. He repented of what he's going to do. And so then you get to 20, where I read earlier, and there was also a man. Okay, remember Jeremiah, JC. He go, this man right here, this John the Baptist. So it says, and there was a man that prophesied in the name of the Lord, URIJAH, the son of Shema of Kirkum, who prophesied against this city and against this land, according to all the words of Jeremiah. And when Jehoiakim, the king, with all his mighty men and all his princes, heard his words, the king sought to put him to death. But when Uriah heard it, he was afraid, and he fled, and he went into Egypt. And Jehoiakim the king sent men unto Egypt, namely Elnathan, I can't say that name, the son of Ichabod, and a certain men with him unto Egypt. And they fetched forth Uriah out of Egypt and brought him unto Jehoiakim the king, who slew him with the sword and cast his dead body into the grave grave of the common people. So you do your homework. See, they taking out stuff because it's gonna ring a bell if they put it like it's supposed to be. So he says he beheaded him. When you go Google this guy's name and you just start looking through his information. So Jehoiakim beheaded him, just like they did John the Baptist. Jehoiakim beheaded him, right? Then and then throwed him out like a common people. So 24. Nevertheless, the hand of Akim, the son of Stephen, was with Jeremiah, that they should not give him into the hands of the people to put him to death, right? So that was 26. But we see right here, this is where all this stuff coming from. But they didn't cover it over and reworded it where you want to see that where they got it from. Okay. So, like I said, Uriah, Google that name. So I had some more stuff on what I was dealing with pertaining to this. I just want to kind of like, anybody have any comments right now before I start keep going? Anybody ever heard of Uriah, the prophet?
No, sir, I haven't.
Okay. That's just my point. So anyway, so here goes some things I wanted to shine a light on pertaining to this. In back to the priest, when it says, we're gonna go to Isaiah 53 first. Go to Isaiah 53. I'm just making this plain because that's where we at. It's that time. Isaiah 53. Okay, so it says, so they say Isaiah 53 is Jesus, and I'm showing you that it's the arm of the Lord, the priest, Levites, and the men of Judah, but more so the Levites. So it says in 53, I'm going to restart at verse 1. Who will believe our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed, right? And then it says, for he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground. He have no form or no comeliness, and when you shall see him, there is no beauty that we shall desire him. So we see right here, say you're going to come up as a tender plant, right? A tender plant, a pleasant plant, right? And it's saying that, and I showed you why he's saying him, because you see Israel as one man, because Jacob had 12 sons. They all came from Jacob. So he's talking he's talking in the singular because he see Israel as one man. It came from Jacob, and he's saying him because of that, not that it's one man he's talking about, because we can see that in verse. Let me get it. Let me see if I can get it right. Say knowledge, righteous. Let me start at verse 7, 53:7. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as sheep before his shears is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. He was taken from the prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living, and for the transgression of that people was he stricken. And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was there any deceit in him. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. And when thou shalt make his soul an offering to seed, here you go right here. He shall see his seed. See that? He shall see his seed. So it ain't JC, because the story is he don't have no seed. He ain't have no wife. He ain't never been with no woman. So whoever this is, he shall see his seed, and he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. So we see right here, this whoever this is got seeds, descendants, not one, descendants. Okay, so that's an example, but we're not gonna even trouble with that. I want to shine a light on the pleasant, on this tender plant, pleasant plant. I'm in Jeremiah 25. And so notice where I'm at. I told you Jeremiah is the blueprint for JC. Okay, so I'm in Jeremiah 25. Okay, and then it says 34 and 35. 24, 34, and 35 says, I'll start at 33. And the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other, and the earth that's and one end of the earth to the other of the earth, and they shall not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried. They shall be dung upon the earth. Then 34, howl ye shepherds, and cry, and wallow yourselves in the ashes, ye principal of the flock. That's the Levites. Shepherds also, howl ye shepherds. That's the Levites. Priesthood, howl ye shepherds, cry, howl yourselves in the ashes, ye principal of the flock. That's the Levites. For the days of your slaughter and of your dispersion are accomplished, and ye shall fall like a pleasant vessel. See that pleasant vessel. 35. And the shepherd shall have no way to flee, nor the principal of the flock to escape. 36. A voice of cry of the shepherds. See that? That's the ones that's responsible, the leaders, the Levites. It says, a voice shall cry of the shepherds, and the howling of the principal of the flock shall be heard, for the Lord hath spoiled their pastures. See that? So we see right here who this pleasant plant is. I want to show you that. Okay. And then I want to go to Jeremiah 23. I'm reading 19 to 26. This is about false prophets. Jeremiah 23, 19 to 26. Okay, it says, behold, a whirlwind of the Lord is gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. Right? 20. The anger of the Lord shall not return until it have executed, until it have performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it perfectly. I have not sent these prophets. See, here we go. I have not sent these prophets, yet they reigned. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. But if they had stood in my counsel, and they caused my people to hear my words, then they shall have turned them from their evil ways and from the evil of their doings. Okay, see that 20. Okay, yeah, from the evil of their doings. 23. I am the Lord at hand. I am a God at hand, says the Lord, and not a God afar off. Can any hide himself in a secret place that I shall not see him, said the Lord. Do not I feel heaven and earth, says the Lord. I have heard what the prophet said, that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed and have not, and have said, I have dreamed. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Yea, they are prophets of deceit in their own heart, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. The prophet that have a dream, let him tell a dream, and he that have my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is the chaff of the wheat, said the Lord. So we see right here, if these false prophets, then who the pleasant plant is, and who's the one that's gonna lead them right? It's the Levites, the righteous Levites. They're all Levites, but you got these ones right here that's causing Israel to err. So who is the suffering servant? The righteous ones. And the ones that don't do righteous, they're the ones that's gonna get punished. It ain't the brunt of the punishment. They all gonna suffer, but Levi's gonna suffer, gonna get the brunt of the punishment 7 times. So anyway, I'm in Nehemiah chapter 8. Nehemiah chapter 8. Okay. Nehemiah chapter 8. Okay, I'm reading 1 through 12. This is about the king, the priests, and the Levites to teach the people. So this is the opposite right here. I was telling you about. This is the righteous. This is the opposite. So it says, look what happened. You can see who the arm of the Lord is. That's in Isaiah 53, chapter 8, verse 1. This is when Ezra came back from Babylon to Jerusalem. It says, and all the people gathered themselves together as one man in the streets that was before the water gate. And they spake unto Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded to Israel. Right? Then 12. And Ezra the priest, brought the law before the congregation, both of men and women, and look at this, and all that could hear with understanding. See that? That's important. All that could hear with understanding upon the first day of the 7th month. And then 3. And he read therein before the streets that was before the water gate from the morning until the midday, before the men and the women and those that could understand, and the ears of all the people who were attentive unto the book of the law. See that? So those are the must. Those that understand, and then those that are attentive. Everybody ain't. Then 4. Ezra, the scribe, stood upon the pulpit of wood which they had made for the purpose, and beside him, check it out. Look at this. Ezra on the pulpit, and beside him stood Matthias, Shema, I don't know, I can't even say these names right, Ananiah, Uriah, there go Uriah right here, same guy, Uriah, right, and Hilkiah, Messiah, on his right hand, they're on his right side, and on his left hand, Pedar, Meshach, Mal, others in Hosham, Hadana, Zechariah, and Meshullam. And Ezra opened the book, so they there. That's the arm of the Lord. Isaiah 53, right? So he says, and Ezra opened the book in the sight of all the people, for he was above all the people. And when he opened it, all the people stood up. And Ezra blessed the Lord, the great God, and all the people answered, Amen, Amen, which was lifting up with their hands, and they bowed their heads, and they worshiped the Lord with their faces to the ground. Then he says, and check it out. This is where the meat at. It says, and Jeshua, and Binah, and Siram, and Hadam, Achem, Jebediah, I can't say these names, Jodiah, Messiah, Kitta, Ezra, Pudim, and the Levites. Look at this. And the Levites caused the people to understand the law. And the people stood in their place. So here you go right here. This is where the mandate come in is. Everybody can't cause you to understand the law. That's how you know Most High sent that person. They cause you to understand it. Most High gave them that ability. See that? Calls you. He says the Levites caused the people to understand the law, and the people stood in their place. So they read in the book, in the law of God distinctly, and gave the sense. See that? And gave the sense. This is where the drama coming at. Gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading. So there it is. You hear these people saying they don't know what the Most High got them to do. If you can't cause them to understand, that ain't what he got you to do. And you're in the wrong place. If they ain't causing you to understand this book, then they ain't the one he Most High sent. That's how you rightly divide it. So then he says, hey, so they read the book in the law of God distinctly, and gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading. And Nehemiah, which is the Tishbite, governor, and Ezra the priest, the scribe, and the Levites that taught. See that? These are all Levites. They weren't responsible. Taught the people. And unto all the people this day is holy unto the Lord your God. Mourn not, nor weep. For all the people wept when they heard the words of the law. Then he said unto them, go your way, eat the fat, drink the sweet, and send portions unto them for whom nothing is prepared. This day is holy unto our Lord. Neither be ye sorry, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. So the Levites still, look at this. So the Levites stilled all the people, saying, hold your peace, for the day is holy, neither be ye grieved. And all the people went their way to eat and drink and send portions and make great merry because they had understood. See that? So they rejoicing because the Levites had caused them, they understood the words that were declared unto them. See that? That's huge. They caused them to understand. These righteous Levites. It's the arm. You see the arm right here. There's Levites on Ezra on the pulpit, Levites on the right side, Levites on the left side. They all righteous. That's the Most High arm, Isaiah 53. So what's gonna happen if they don't have the ability to cause the people to understand? People gonna err. That's how we get over here. Okay, so that's one example. So we're gonna keep going. Let me get this Jeremiah 26 and 26, and then we're gonna look at 7. Jeremiah 26 and 7. Turn to what I just read. Okay, 26, Jeremiah 26 says, and 7, it says, I'm gonna start at verse 6. Then will I make this house, this is Jeremiah talking, then will I make this house like Shiloh, and I will make this city a curse to all the nations of the earth. Then 7. So the priests and the prophets and all the people heard Jeremiah. See that? That's who he sent Jeremiah to. The arm, like we just read. Jeremiah was sent to the arm. Israel in disarray. So this is where Jeremiah went. He went to the gate. He went to the princes and to the priests and the Levites and telling them what the Lord said. Okay? Let me get another one. Okay? 26 and 8 says, it says, now it came to pass when Jeremiah had made an end of speaking to all that the Lord had said and commanded him to speak unto all the people, that the priests and the prophets. See how I keep going back to the priests and the prophets? Because that's who he's sending them to. Right. So let's look at this. Let me get one more right here. Let me see. 12. So 12, verse 12, Jeremiah 26 and 12, right? It says, then spake Jeremiah unto all the princes, check it out. Then spake Jeremiah unto all the princes and all the people, saying, the Lord of hosts sent me to prophesy against this house and against this city, and all the words of that ye have heard. So he says against this house. So let's look at that. Go back to Numbers. Numbers 18. Numbers 18, verse 1. And the Lord said unto Aaron, thou and thy sons and thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary. That's the house. Thou and thy sons with thee shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood, and your brethren also of the tribe of Levi and the tribe of thy father bring thou with thee, that thou may be joined unto thee and minister unto thee. But thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of the witness, and they shall keep thy charge and the charge of all the tabernacle. That's the house. Only they shall not come nigh to the vessels of the sanctuary and the altar, that neither they nor ye also shall die. So we see right here, he sent Jeremiah to the house. Who in the house? The priests and the Levites and Aaron's seed. That's who in the house. The other 11 tribes ain't in the house, in his house, in his sanctuary. The Levites in there. That's who he sent Jeremiah to. Go back to JC. Okay. So let me get a couple more ideas and we'll close out. Okay. So like I said, you get a chance, Google that URIJAH. So we go another one right here. This is I'm in 2 Kings chapter 19. This real big. Like he said, you causing the people to hear. And all right. So it says Jeremiah yeah, 2 Kings. Okay, and it says 19. 2 Kings chapter 19, right? So it's a big old thing going on with who JC is, who the Messiah is, right? So I'm in 19 and 34, and it says, I'm gonna read start at 32. Therefore, thus saith the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not, because this is the king of Assyria. Now remember, David dead and gone, right? So it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into this city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with a shield, nor cast a blank against it. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into this city, says the Lord. Now here we go. David dead, been dead. 34. For I will defend this city. It's the Lord of hosts. He says, I will, this pertaining to Hezekiah, says, for I will defend this city and save it for my own sake, for the Lord hosts, Michael, Lord of hosts, for my own sake and for my servant David's sake. So who the Messiah is? He didn't say shit about JC. David dead and gone. And Hezekiah just prayed and asked him, these Assyrians that posted outside the city. They coming in here in the morning and wipe this place out. You heard what they said. So Isaiah told him, go pray a fervent prayer. So Isaiah went and prayed, and then Isaiah came back and told Hezekiah, he heard you. He heard what the king of Assyria said, and he heard your prayer. So he told him right here, this is the answer. 32. Therefore, thus says the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into the city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with a shield, nor cast a blanket against it. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into the city, says the Lord. For I will defend the city to save it for my own sake and for my servant David's sake. Come on. Ain't that something? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, why he didn't say nothing about no Jesus? We know who David is. Come on. So anyway, one more. Let me get this is another one right here with and I'm gonna close out after this one. This is Jeremiah 25 and 31. So back to the Genesis, when the flood came, he says all flesh, right? So we know Cain got people on earth. We got a 6-day man, and then we got Adam. He created Adam on the 8th day after he rested. So you got 3 different races of men. Right. So he says right here in 25 and 31, he says 25, 31, a noise shall come even to the ends of the earth. So that's the whole earth. For the Lord have a controversy with the nations. He shall plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, says the Lord. So all flesh. It's the whole earth. So is this the same? Is all flesh over there in Genesis chapter 6, 7? Yeah. He told him to go get a male and a female from all flesh. He's just saying that for the hell of it. Is all of them Noah's sons? Hell no. He said, go and get a male and female from all flesh. He's saying that for a reason. Cain ain't none of the serpent's son. Cain ain't none of Adam's son. And 6 day man ain't. He told him to go get a male and a female from all flesh. Put them on the genitalia and put them on the boat. Just like right here. He's going to plead with all flesh on the planet. All mean all. Okay? Any comments? Everybody good?
Go tour with who?
Yes, sir.
Everybody? Okay. So nobody have no comments. We're gonna close it out right here. I see everybody on tomorrow at for our reading through the Tanakh at 8 o'clock. I say shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Okay.
Shalom.
Shalom.